Now, this is a video I've gotten multiple requests for, so I decided to go all the way like I did for my Caliber video and write a script. I'm not going to try and be as serious as I was in my Caliber video, since instead of sounding ominous, I just sounded like I was going to burst into tears, so let's keep it upbeat this time. This video is about the Interdimensional Horror, the final boss of the Marine's past, and its supposed connections to the Gungeon. The Interdimensional Horror is a powerful Lovecraftian abomination summoned by the Primadyne Research and Development Science Team by accident in their attempts to open up a transdimensional portal. They succeeded, but at the cost of letting the horror and all of its compatriots through to wreak havoc on the laboratory. In the original timeline, the Marine, who was in a cell near the labs for dereliction of duty, escaped and fled to the station's escape pods, being one of, if not the only survivor of the experiment. The Marine, feeling guilty after leaving the station to die, fled to the Gungeon in an attempt to go back and save everybody. It's never outright stated where the horror came from, how intelligent it is, or what happened to it after it destroyed the station. This isn't directly related to the horror, but upon entering the past you may notice a mutated-looking humanoid in the cell to the left of the Marines. His sprites name him as Toots Craze, which is what I'll use to refer to him for the rest of the video. The reason Toots here is significant is because of his dialogue. If you were to sit and watch Toots for a while, you'd notice him spouting seemingly mad and paranoid phrases. Here's a full list of his dialogue. I can hear her. Through the walls! No! The machine! The machine! She will come through to us. To all of us! Have they done it? Now, you could take these at face value as the ramblings of a madman, or you could go with the theory that the her Toots refers to as the horror, and that he somehow knew about her before her arrival. As for the machine he talks about, it's probably the one used to sustain the portal that the horror exits through. You can see it on the floor in the middle of the boss room. While this section on Toots has largely been speculation, I thought it was worth mentioning. Many people have theorized that the Interdimensional Horror is connected to the Gungeon in some way, Bullet Hell in particular. In this section I'm going to go over all the evidence I've found connecting them so that you can come to your own conclusions. The first and weakest piece of evidence is that the horror's face kinda looks like the face of the Gungeon. This is something I've seen around a lot, and I don't really believe it. All you have is the hole in forehead theme that doesn't even appear in the form we see on the boss card, only showing in the in-game sprite. One of the Interdimensional Horror's attacks involves it changing the floor of the boss room to reddish rock with pools of orange poison that the player can't stay on for very long. This floor texture is greatly similar to the floor textures of Bullet Hell, and identical to the glimpse of Bullet Hell that's visible through the rift in the endgame void. During the fight against the Interdimensional Horror, the horror can vanish and summon a small group of imp minions to attack the player. These imps are largely unremarkable, but in the Abbey of the True Gun, a painting can be seen depicting one of them. I have no idea why the Abbey of the True Gun have a portrait of the imps, but since the imps and the horror all came from the same place, even if this doesn't imply a direct connection to Bullet Hell, it definitely implies a connection to the Gungeon. The Interdimensional Horror is a reference to the Nihilanth from Half-Life. The sprites of the horror even call it the Nihilanth. The methods by which the horror was summoned is a reference to Doom. The imp minions it summons are also references to Doom. In conclusion, the Interdimensional Horror is a vile abomination summoned by accident by a team of overly proud scientists, who I now know I named after the research team of The Thing, thanks to you lot, and decided to wreak havoc on the station, originally getting away with it until the Marine found his way back. It is of unknown origin and may be female. Anyways, that's all I have for you in this video. See ya!